Let us not be deceived, friends. Igbo Mamman, Igbo Mamman, Igbo Mamman. And this is a greeting, right? But it's also a call for assent. It's a call for, it's an invitation for consent, for agreement, or if you like, endorsement. What am I asking you to endorse? Let's look at some real stuff. Your thoughts are real in their effects in some of the outcomes you see in your life. You see thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and your verbalizations. The things you say about yourself, the things you say about your family, about your village, your community, your local government, the things you say and believe about your state and about your nation ultimately become your reality. I don't know if you believe this, but the scripture says, let the weak say I am strong, and let the poor say I am rich. What it's saying, in effect, is more like, some people will say that's a lie. You're lying. That's denying the reality. Well, no matter how realistic you are, the truth is that your thoughts, your beliefs begin to trigger your selection of behavior. Behaviors are like tools. Begin to trigger your selection of behaviors that have in the past helped you to avoid something, to reach out for something so you can assess them, to escape pain, or to obtain pleasure or seek sensory reinforcement. Those are the functions of behavior. But you see, when you think a certain way, when you think, for example, I am valuable, I am worthy, you start seeing yourself like that. And then you begin to behave like someone who have some self-worth, someone who have some self-esteem. And now that your self-esteem is related to your self-efficacy, your self-efficacy, is this belief in your ability to accomplish something. So you have an ability, agreed. You have a skill, agreed. You have wisdom and intelligence, agreed. But it takes efficacy to translate that reality into existence. It takes your belief in your ability, which you have, to get something done. So, you see, that's why intelligence is not enough. And when I speak to Ndibai, when I speak to Igbos, I'm saying, be careful what you say. Be careful what you say about your unity status. When you say we are not united, we don't love ourselves, that becomes your reality. Matter of fact, you become a part of the establishment of that reality. You're creating it. You're calling forth this unity into existence. You're calling forth lack of love and all of these stereotypes and things. Now, I'm not denying that they exist, but I'm saying speak that which you want to happen. When you call your neighbors zoos, when you call your country a zoo, I don't like it. I don't support it. I'm not saying that zoo-like behaviors are not present, but who wants to have a neighbor that is a zoo? Or who wants to come from a country? Let's say we have an independent Biafra, for example. You want to have neighbor. America is neighbor to Canada. But they have not always been friends like that. There were times where there were frictions, right? So, yeah, let everybody grow and succeed. We know the injustices. But what I'm saying is that part of our strategy, part of the strategy for the recovery, for the restoration of the dignity of the Igbo and Nigeria in general, is watching our mouth. Watch what you say. Watch what you say. Because what you say will ultimately become what you. If you say, oh no, they're going to come and arrest us, they're going to come, they begin to call arrest. You begin to summon arrests. Okay? When you say, oh, that's what they're killing, our farms are dead, everywhere is there, nothing is working, nothing will work, everything will begin to not work. Now look at it. If our thoughts can make us sick, you think of something and you begin to feel impact of it. If our thoughts can make us sick, the reverse can also be true. Our thoughts can make us healthy. Okay, so I mean, there is a whole lot of philosophy around this. People can argue it depending on the size they belong to, right? I mean, you know that human beings naturally are motivated by different needs, right? For example, some people are drawn to pleasure, so they are pleasure oriented, okay? And some people are drawn um, by pain avoidance. So, what motivates them is the avoidance of pain. So, think for example, some people come to God because they believe that if they come to God, God can now, they love pleasure, they want good things of life. They want um, they want like good life, good homes, good cars. God will prosper them, right? So some people, because they seek or desire prosperity, they come to God. You can analyze those category of people and see a pattern of pleasure seeking, and that's okay. Don't have a problem with it. But there are also people who will come to God because they don't want to go to hellfire. These ones want to avoid pain. They want to not get in trouble. They want to overcome wickedness. That's whatever motivates you, you end up in God. You see, in the same application, the same way, you can apply the same paradigm. Okay, you can see your glass as half full or half empty. It's up to you, but whichever one you choose will influence the behaviors you select and use, and your reality. Your thoughts will become your reality. So I'm asking us to rethink, rethink our beliefs, and somehow find a way of removing or reducing, minimizing negative self-talk. Okay, negative confessions. Okay, because affirmations are important. If you come to if you say to yourself, I can do this, before you know it, you're beginning to do behaviors that will make you accomplish that. If you say to yourself, oh, this is too taskful, this is overwhelming, we will never be able to solve this problem, we can never get out of this problem, believe me, your brain will endorse that. The brain is a willful servant. It will obey every command if you do it sufficiently and over time. So repeated practice in your thoughts, in your beliefs, in your emotions, and in your perceptions confirms or reinforces what you believe your brain registers as your reality. And sometimes you don't even need to be rational anymore. It gets automatic. So you respond once the triggers are right. Okay, so I just hope that somebody picks out one line or one sentence or just some thoughts sparks up for you from these conversations. I wish you good luck and in all you do, and I hope that we can begin to look at our circumstances and look at our country, our nation from a different lens, from a lens that is solution focused and not just problem focused. Being solution focused is not a denial of the problems, it's just focusing on solutions so you don't get overwhelmed. You don't get overwhelmed. I've been talking recently about just how, I mean, almost all the sectors in our country are experiencing impairments. There are challenges. We blame the leaders. Of course, we blame the leaders, but honestly, I struggle more with the institutions. Of course, the leaders make the institutions, and the institutions make the leaders. But there is a role that the followers can do. There is a role. There's some positive parallel systems that people can run. I've said it time and time again. Young people cannot expect that in one election you will just upturn all the decades of impairments that have been consolidated in Nigeria. You want to erase all the corruption in one election? No, that's not possible. Rather than give up, strengthen those of you who participated in the last presidential election who were hopeful. I don't know why you're giving up. What are you giving up? Did you look at the data? Did you even evaluate the progress? Did you assess your baseline, like where you are coming from and how much look at how you shook the system? Don't give up. Reinforce that. Matter of fact, And I made the case, I made the argument that I don't see why there shouldn't be this youth, what is it called, like Obi movement or something, but there should be Obi movement in all parties. So if you're drawn to APC, for example, or you like a PDP, or you prefer ABGA, or prefer the Labour Party, we want an active youth group in all of these parties demanding the same thing, demanding that we can progress from consumption to production, cutting down on cost of governance. It doesn't matter which party or which candidate you're supporting. The system. We want youth and young people in all these parties who are interested in making sure that we have an effective police system. I keep talking about law enforcement. We are not. There's a lot of progress we can make by, sort of, improving the law enforcement, particularly improving the relationship we have with the regular policeman you see on your street, in your house, in your area daily. Form alliances, citizen alliances. If followers can do that, support the families of policemen and themselves. Okay. What I mean by support is however you can show them love, however you can win them over to become, like people who want the change as well, to join the campaign, even as police officers. If an average policeman knows that, and of course not everybody, there are good people, there will still be people who are still on their journey to becoming good people, right? So not everybody will be like that, but there are some people, some officers, many actually, okay, there are many law enforcement officers who have a conscience, who want change, who are also tired of this nonsense. Okay, that's what is going on. So if we can sort of win those ones over, and they have the guarantee, they have the awareness that if something were to happen to them out of retaliation, say for example they were instructed to obstruct the polling booths, or to steal, to look away when ballot boxes have been snatched, the person can say no. Worst case scenario, you sack me. If you sack me, the people are going to have my back. My children are already getting scholarships. Somebody in my street have paid school fees for my son. That kind of love we need, because ultimately it's going to be about the law enforcement, it's going to be about INEC, it's going to be about the tribunal. So this triad of determinants, these are the agencies that determine the future of Nigeria. So we can look at that and say, okay, what do we do to form alliances with the good people in INEC, in the tribunals, or potential people who might end up in the tribunal, election petition pre-tribunals, and also, with law enforcement? How can we have youths who are progressive, who want change, change seekers, get into these institutions, sponsor them, support them? Imagine that somebody will find a good man or a good woman, anybody who is interested in changing Nigeria, work in INEC, and we can sort of help them with transportation, sometimes help them, however you can support them, so that you will have allies in those settings. This may not be the miracle solution that anybody is looking for, but it can move the needle an inch. If we do not reinforce people who are trying to do good, how do you expect good to multiply? Corruption is heavily reinforced in Nigeria. There are contingencies. The environment is ripe to support corruption, and that's why it's prevailing. So when you blame the individuals, even good people who end up in leadership positions, they become like, wow, what happened? I have great respect, and like in the days that we look at the man who was in labor, who was oh my goodness, who was, I don't want to mention names, but very great labor leader. I thought, oh my goodness, if we can have this man or people like him in positions, in political positions, they will make a change. But look at that. They come in and the system change them instead. So it is those structures, those systems. It's not the people. I can get angry about people, individual names, mention them, but they are crippled. Their hands are tied. God forbid. There are people, the pressures that put them, and the manipulation of their vulnerabilities, right? So they have cases, they have things planned and cooked, waiting for them, which they use to threaten them. So if you were try to do good, then we'll blackmail you with this. Let's rescue the good ones. Let's reinforce good so that good will multiply. Okay. So I mean, I can go on and on, but let me put it. Let me just calm down and let me begin to calm down. Okay. All right. I hope you think about it and let me know what you think and give me your own ideas as well. Thank you. God bless. And happy Mother's Day to all the women in Nigeria doing motherhood, all the mothers across the world. You guys rock. Without you, um, there's no hope. So we are grateful for, you know, for the hope that you birth on daily basis. God bless you. Enjoy.